Yo, welcome to the scene, it's your host TTP. We're flying high in the crypto sky, it's you and me. From Bitcoin rush to Ethereum, we trading all the coins with the trading parity, making that joyful noise. We got bots, we got plots, charts on the big screen. 3 comments to wait, Hunter with a trading machine. Laughing all the way to the bank, it's a fun parade. With every trade we made, watch how we get paid. TTP's got the formula, flipping coins like a spatula. In the crypto game with the vernacular, spectacular. From the morning to the night, we're streaming with the light, trying to trading parallel. We'll teach you how to fight. Dive into the charts, the RSI, liquidity at a glance, trends on the rise. We never leave it up to chance. All trading tools of the champion breed. With AI and math, we're planting the money seed. Laugh with us, trade with us, ain't no looking back. You're with the parrot now, leading the pack. Alpha profits, snap plus with the crypto law. TTP's on the mic and he's ready to soar. TTP's on the mic and he's ready to soar. TTP's got the formula, flipping coins like a spatula. In the crypto game with the vernacular, spectacular. From the morning to the night, we're streaming with the light. Join the trading parallel. We'll teach you how to fight. Dive into the charts.
Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. We got the core inflation coming in, and as I promised in the video in the morning, I was gonna cover it if we get enough likes and enough comments. So I got a fair amount of comments and I got excited. Just in 10 minutes, I prepared the live stream and we're gonna cover it. We're gonna go straight into looking at the data. Let me know in the comments. I'm gonna keep you right here in case you have any questions. Looking at the questions. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? We're going to look into doing some surgery to the order book. We're going to look at the 4-hour, this recent move up that we were talking in the morning as well. All of that, we just have around 15 minutes before we get the final readings. Let's summarize everything that has happened so far. We are 13 minutes away from confirming the expectation of the forecast is 2.4. That's the year-on-year inflation rate from a prior of 2.4 as well. And I have a summary in here, which I was using this morning thanks to Grok AI, that is summarizing what analysts are saying. So if you missed the video in the morning, just a very quick recap that the CPI below expectations, below 2.4, is expected to affect positively the price action. If we get exactly meeting expectations, just 2.4, then possibly sideways, slightly a bit bearish, possibly. Watch the video from the morning if you want the full in-depth analysis. Then CPI above expectations to 4. It's something that is perceived as negative. So that's where we are currently standing. And let's go into some of the charts before we run out of time. What's the point of doing TA before? And then let's look at what's going on at the moment with the 4 hours. So basically, we took the fair value gap that I was showing around 103.4, I think it was this morning. That's precisely where we went thanks to this double bottom formation, which I've been comparing to the one on the 5th of May. That was the reversal around this area where we found support and we carry on going in that direction. So at the moment, if you are on a short, this is more or less the area where you would like to see rejection, right? So because we just lost the support at 103 and something, and coming back to that area could be perceived as a retest with further continuation into an ABC correction pointing more or less below the 100K if we get just an extension of 1. So if we reclaim this area, if we come back to the previous range, I left one orange line in here that is located at 104.8. Those are the highs, obviously, and that number 104.8 comes from RSI achieving the full length of that double bottom. So I put the target and it takes you around RSI 61, that was more or less located in the orange line, 61 RSI precisely. So getting there is still not going back into a breakout to the upside. A breakout to the upside is located at RSI 65. So let's go and let's draw that line, and let's see how high Bitcoin needs to climb to actually produce a breakout. So that's 106, the same value I gave before to my Patreon community. So 106 is if Bitcoin goes, and let's remove this line, it's no longer the forecast. 65 is right there in this downward sloping resistance on the 4 hour, breaking beyond that and reclaiming the orange, which was support and then resistance, is kind of a confluence there for continuation into that 91 sweet spot for the longs. Why is it so good to get into RSI 91? Well, that is what we've been comparing from the previous cycle where we got into 90 after 4 attempts. Let's look at the daily. The daily is holding support right there, so nothing has been broken with this move down. We just weak to the downside, and it's, the longs can think, well, that's the perfect recipe, holding daily for continuation. We are in an uptrend and the trend is your friend. Let's look at liquidation levels. Where are they placed currently? And let's ignore this red. And we got that 106 that is very attractive. So from the point of view of liquidation pools, if we ignore that we kind of lost support in here in the short term, that is still very attractive for price to go and visit at least once more the 106. Let's look at the 3-day. Let's look at the weekly on the liquidation heat map. Thanks so much, guys, for all the comments. Jose Alberto says, great TA channel. I just joined your channel like a week ago. Welcome in. Welcome, everybody. General 66 says, can you see the comments here? Let's read them together. Buy the rumor, sell the news event. What about the unfair value gap? We can cover that just in a second. Higher than expected, this drawdown will continue. Why? Because it will not give the Fed incentive to cut rate. Makes sense. Yeah. So let's go with the rest of the charts before we get the final reading. And it's just 8 minutes that I have to do the rest. And I hope you appreciate. I'm not really feeling well today. A bit unwell, a little bit coughing and hay fever. I'm planning to go to a gig in the evening, so you're not gonna have me in the evening. Let's look at the bid versus ask is at 0.2, very flat. The previous area that got bought up it was in a situation more or less like this. I was looking for a lot of bidding. We found this 0.12 that occurred in this red candle. So I will say that longs, the smart money longs, if they succeed, they're already allocated in a long. They probably enter around 101.7. I gave you that level yesterday. Look in my Twitter. 101.5 was a conservative target for a short from the top, and its support is currently holding, and it's the level that we need to break if we want continuation to take the rest of the liquidity on the lower end. Speaking of which, let's go into fair value gaps. The fair value gap of the morning, I told you we're going to take it very quickly, and we did. That was located at 103.5, and we left another one now below the price, attracting the price. It could attract the price up until 102.858. Not very exact, but more or less like that. You can see the number on the screen. And Alex is saying, thank you for doing this even while not feeling well. I hope you feel better soon. Thanks so much. It's not going to be very long, though. We're going to get the numbers. We're going to see a little bit of the volatility, things moving, and I'm going to answer questions in case we get a big move. I guess if we go very high, people are going to ask me, oh, I'm in a short, what am I going to do? Or if we go very low, is it going to recover? It's going to be the question, the typical one. Trading light is still not there. Here's the wall of selling. Let's refresh it once more. We got some fair selling wall in there, but the bid versus ask ratio on high blue capital doesn't really show that much. So there is a discrepancy in here. So far charts shows a lot of selling in here, not that much. 39, 41, 42, 110 has 64, and we have 120. The new kid in town is now that level. 51 million at that point, in 64 at 110. Purple wells, what are they doing? Oh, my Zoom is not working. Anyways, they took the highs, so they are allocated. They did position themselves in the bottom of the double bottom right there. They are leading indicator. So that's an alpha that is positive. We are in a position of weakness because we had the resistance, but with that liquidity pool there and with the purple wells pointing up, there is a chance that we go into 106 and we hit that. Once we hit that, I want to see what's the reaction of the bid and ask. If we get a selling wall that suddenly appears at 106, it's because they have a huge appetite to short the market, and those things are very fast, very quick. That's why we want to do these things looking at the data together. That's how I do it. And when people ask me, are you going to short there? Are you going to sell there? My answer is always the same. I decide on the spot based on data. This is a data driven channel. Let's see at the 2 week. At the moment, we have those liquidation levels here at 106. So there is a potential to go there. If news come bearish, we can still go to 106. Call that the fake move, the initial fake move. We could do that and then still come back down to grab liquidity on the lower end. Let's see what liquidity we have on the lower end. I forgot to do that. It's very small, but we have at 100K, that level of support is right there, back with liquidity. Let's see if I'm missing something important short term. We got those signals I already mentioned this morning. We had the CPR first resistance acting as support. That's 101.6. No news on that. No. Yeah, and we're just stalled waiting for the final numbers. 257 watching and only 59 likes. If you like his content, which is clearly you are watching, give him a like or just leave. That's what Jude is saying. Fair enough. Thanks so much for the support. It will be really nice if you can give a like to the live stream. If you have any specific questions about Bitcoin, okay, I'm not gonna do TA of all coins while we could get a big move. That will be a bit silly. Also, if you get the numbers before me, because I'm looking at TradingView and I know that there are some other places that they publish the number faster, and then we can look at the move. The move is why we are here. Whatever move we get, or if there's no move, we're going to analyze and keep our eyes on the order book. Thanks so much. Jay says, we love what you do. And I forgot to look at this Market Monkey Terminal. I don't know if you guys know, but this is fantastic. It's for free. And we see some support here at 101,600. No news. We talk about that support all the time. And we have some resistance at 104, some at 104.8, 105, and 106. And I want to see what happened to 110. That is, give me the number, 750. That's good. Cool. 1K likes. Yeah, let's go for 1K likes. That will be fantastic. No move. I'm reading your comments, guys. If you get the number, we're gonna say it live. And I think I had a tweet that was kind of the summary. Let's go and find it. I made a summary for this morning. That's our summary. Let me know if you agree with the summary, because this is coming from analysts. This is not my opinion. It's a summary of everything that it's been said out there. In Mauricio is asking how long it lasts the immediate retail institutional rally dump on CPI news. Hours, days, weeks. Um, it should be very quick, the initial reaction, and then it settles within the first 24 hours, the final decision. Let's go back to the numbers. 20 seconds. This is almost like New Year's Eve. Remember, we are looking for less than 2.4, ideally inflation going down. Okay. So now we just need to wait. The comments are so funny. I can put the comments actually. Let's put the comments so everybody can see them. Don't say too many inappropriate things, please. Oh, 2.3, slightly lower. Oh my God, we're going to get a move up potentially. And we are already seeing some move of the price up. 2.3 is the number. Let's see the order book. And there are some orders here that they want to stop the price. Do they really want to short this? 103.8 at that point. Let's go into high block capital. And the ratio actually has gone to 0.3 from 0.2 to 0.4. So that means that they are placing sell orders more than what we had before we got the numbers. Interesting. That's kind of contrarian to the tweet with the summary that says below 2.4 that we get a risk on rally 10% up. That's what the analysts are saying. And we're getting some volatility that is going to 103 and 5. There's some discussions going on in the comments about Trump. Was that priced in? Bogna is saying. Well, we're very close to the 2.4. That was the forecast, so at 2.3. So it's slightly in the bullish territory. But one thing that I've been thinking all this time is that Nasdaq was out front running. Sorry, Bitcoin was front running the Nasdaq by taking on the 21 weekly and getting closer to an all-time high. And that catching up from Nasdaq with Bitcoin is usually perceived as something bearish because you see Bitcoin first rallying and then Nasdaq catching up. But I think if Nasdaq catches up and everything turns out to be something super bullish, then Bitcoin just slows down a bit, but then they go all together to higher highs, if that's the case. And yeah, I really want us to take number 2 and 3 on the CME gaps, but it seems that we still don't get major volatility to confirm direction, or even a fake initial move will be fun to see live. So yes, we are against resistance. So if they are going to really use this as a bullish narrative, they're going to need momentum in here to break the 104.7. So we can break that big 4-hour resistance right there at RSI 65. Remember that the double bottom had momentum to get us into 60, 61 maximum. and the next resistance is 65. So there are two levels that this needs to overcome to go back into the highs and confirm breakout to the upside. Daily still holding, but after one bullet that we took around 29th of April, no daily broken yet. And something I forgot to say this morning, and I'm just noticing now, if you look at the volume profile, the range, we just did a pinch of the top and we came back inside. So now we have very little time. It's like a TikTok that we need to reclaim 105.4. That's the top of the range to confirm that this is not a liquidity hand. This is a liquidity hand. This was a liquidity hand. So ideally, this is not another one, because people are going to start calling for a double top if that's the case. Uh, please hide the chat screens too little. Oh, some people are using their phones and they cannot see. There you go. I did it. So that resistance is being challenged, 103.7. That's the one I mentioned this morning. It's a work in progress. And the higher the price is going, the more they're placing limit orders to sell, slightly bouncing between 0.2 to 0.5 at times. Remember that this morning we cleared out all the short-term liquidity on the delta, on high block capital. Now it's just 50K. Yesterday was like 800K or 700, I think, if I remember right. And this is changing with time. There's new orders are coming in at 105. And I'm a bit confused because the analysts were saying the opposite. So we got less than expected. We should be seeing some move up, but I see new orders. So I just saw that one yellow turn into orange, and the thicker it gets, the more difficult is to take those levels. Let's refresh this to get uh, 1 month. The purple wells are just stalled. We got the 43 million, 43 million, and 64 million. Someone is saying all coins are pumping. A real move comes when markets open. Oh, yeah, that's true. Let's see the pre-market. That's a good idea. Why I didn't even look at the general markets, guys? That is absolutely wrong. In the indices. Oh, wow. Okay. So we are piercing the probably one of the last resistance here on Nasdaq. And let's go to this chart. Yep, dollar going up, gold should be going down, and Nasdaq pinching that level of the 21,000 and beyond the 21 weekly, catching up with Bitcoin. S&P did the same, and it left a gap, quite a big gap here, 1.25% gap that at some point needs to get filled. And whoa, this is good. I was thinking that the VIX was going to bounce from 19 because that was previous resistance, right? But instead of that, now it's below that new support. So that means that it has cooled down a lot, a lot. That's 70% from the top of the VIX back into the previous range is intracandle action. What we don't want is that we close this week back above that, calling for another expansion. There should be another expansion at some point. I don't know when is it going to happen, but now it's cooling down a lot thanks to the positiveness in the market. But if you look at the VIX, it's coming right there at support at 45. So these areas, more often than not, tend to be the areas where the expansion starts. What is expansion? The correction, the correction of the markets, if you don't know. Uh, like, for example, you are here, you get closer to tops on Bitcoin or sideways. Like this bottom there on the RSI coincides with that top. Mm, and not always coincides, but it's where you are at the very lows of the VIX, and from there it can only go higher. And that's why you want to prevent. You don't want to be starting your longs here. You want to start them when you are very high on the VIX. It's the opposite. Have you seen new liquidity at 104? Oh my god. Let's go and see. Let's go and see. Let's go and see. Where is the monkey? It's called Market Monkey Terminal. What a name. And resistance is at 104.8. My God, I they watching my channel, but they place the liquidity right at the levels where the RSI says 104A. And we named that level resistance, and I left it in the chart. And there's a ton of more liquidity sitting right there. And support used to be thick with 300. Now it's just 280. So it's a bit less than before. And let's go and see the bid ask ratio. It remains the same, and price pretty much is not going anywhere. S&P futures starting to pump. I believe you. Yeah, you have a 583 relative to yesterday, a 582 with that gap that we mentioned. Uh, uh, cool. Well, it seems that we still don't have much volatility today. And we are pinching in here 103.8. Because I'm looking at the long term. Okay, so we are at 103.8 and we have this liquidity there. We are still below the resistance. This is being confirmed. The trend direction is shifting into more bullish in this area. Why is it stalled? I don't know. There is a battle ongoing, I think. The order book is extremely flat with 0.2. You should be expecting to see now that everybody plays themselves for a position, and that usually appears in the order book. But we got the opposite situation. There's just flatness. So one side needs to break, and then we get the direction. But for the longs, if you reclaim the 4 hour, the daily is already healthy. So longs just need to get slightly higher in here, less than 1%, and you get to 105, and you're going to get the RSI breaking out 65, 66. And, that could rhyme with what we did in this area here between steps 3 and 4, which was a hidden bullish divergence, and then from 63 into 90. And by the way, how low we went? We went beyond 63. We were at 63, we fell to 45. So we were supposed to make a move from 63 to 91. That was 28 bars. Since we went lower, what if we get to 74 now? Well, that's going to give, instead of 120K, 110, just because we drag a lot lower. But actually, it should be the opposite. We can get higher the lower we go on the RSI reset. Core CPI is at a 2.8 as estimate. So we only beat CPI. Plus, this is before seasonal adjustments. That's what Yuri is saying. Probably when market opens, it will go a little bit more wild. I really think it is strange retail is not here. People are saying, yeah, they are definitely not here, or at least they are not on Google Trends. And it doesn't feel like, I mean, I don't need to really look at Google Trends. I just look at the views and I compare with previous CPI report, and you get a lot more views on every single video. That tells you that they are not here. Right. I'm just gonna stay 10 more minutes to see if there's some volatility. If not, we're gonna call it the most boring CPI report ever in terms of volatility, and we just leave it there. And maybe if there's volatility after, I can publish a quick update later. I'm starting to see. No, I think it's my idea. Well, maybe a little bit more liquidity has come in here. New shorts opening and placing their risk at 106. Guys, don't do that. If you're seeing the price coming up in here and you see red there, do not put your stop loss where everybody else has it, because you just make it worse. It's like throwing petrol on a fire. uh, uh, if ChatGPT and Grok don't figure in Google search results, I think that might be the reason, the low numbers. Well, if that's the case, then Google probably is broken. They go bankrupt, if you're right, because I think there's still a heck of a lot of search on Google. And I would like to see those numbers. How many people are now replacing Google with LLMs? And I tend to think that the vast majority are still on Google, just because it's the default and they just don't understand how to deal with the AI yet. Most people can check long short the ratio. So Alex is asking for the ratio long short. The one I have is this one here on high block capital, which is 0.03003 at the moment. Unfortunately, trading light is down, so we cannot get it from there. XRP holder, keep holding. Nothing can stop us. It can stop us from what? From holding redbacks. Sorry for the joke. Just a joke. Don't get offended. If you are that strong, XRP army, I know that you can take a joke. I don't remember last time I used Google. Yes, of course, but guys, you are techies, okay? You're trading Bitcoin. Just by definition, if you're trading Bitcoin, probably you're also using AI. It's kind of the same group of people. But, think about your dad, your mom, your grandma, kids, they don't really use much that. There is a trend towards that, but I'm sure that it's just a small niche that is starting to grow, and it's not as big as Google, which is still a beast. Do you think we will see all-time high today? With the 2.3, let me see again the general markets. As I say, I don't do forecasts. I don't say this will happen. That's not my thing. Oh, we got a lot of. Is this up to date? All coins today are still in the red. Interesting. Let's go into the indices. No, it's not moving. It's just stuck there. So to answer the question, I think if if S&P and Nasdaq put an all-time high, if we take these highs, it's almost impossible that Bitcoin doesn't. I think Bitcoin front run this move, but Bitcoin is also not stupid and is going to wait for what happens to traditional markets from here and on. That's kind of my assumption. I can be completely wrong on that, but I feel like Bitcoin front run this and is saying, okay, now you do it and then I do it. Okay. And if general markets make the move all time high, then Bitcoin says, okay, fine, I will do it too. It's not always Bitcoin front runnings. It front runs a select number of moves of general markets. Some AI are pumping. So unpopular anecdotal evidence. Everybody in my family is using AI, even the grandparents. Wow. You know, we are at that time. I remember when they released Google, and I was so excited to stop using Yahoo and to stop using Hasta la Vista, Alta Vista, or whatever it was called, or Geo Cities. I don't remember. Some of those I was using in uni. And when Google appeared, it was like magic because it wasn't a directory. It was something that was being populated in real time. I had to submit requests to list my website on Yahoo the first time and to say I'm a student, I do this, and then they accept it, they list it in Yahoo. It was a directory. Then Google was so magic. It was like AI. Every single thing appears there in minutes. If it's online, it's there. So AI is in that stage where everything is new. Google was so clean, no advertising, nothing. Now you search something in Google, it's pure crap, it's full of advertising. And I'm just hoping that AI is not going to become that. Definitely it will. I mean, there's nothing stopping them from getting stupidly, grotesquely rich by manipulating everybody with the answers of AI. They're going to need some regulation there because literally you're going to say, what is the best Hoover I can buy? And it's going to tell you precisely the one that they benefit from or the one that is paying better advertisement. Is another step in the wrong direction, the saying that Google already took and embraced. Google is absolutely embracing the dodginess, the crap of accepting money to push you ads everywhere, everywhere. Yeah, sorry for the rant. I should have a separate channel for that. Alta Vista, yes, muchas gracias. Tiene un buen día. That's not a Spanish speaker, but I appreciate the good morning, the attempt of Spanish. Good one. So fair value gap is still there. What's going on with Bitcoin? I missed those days where we get a CPI report and we got a 10K move in one direction. What is Ask Jeeves? Not only advertising, but target searches and results. Everything is so manipulated everywhere. Not to mention that I cannot talk about anything at home with the Google Home. Then I get everywhere advertising about that or videos on YouTube talking precisely about what I'm talking at dinner time, which is really sketchy. I don't know if you're experiencing already that sort of thing. Right. It seems like we're going to take a nap here at 103.7 at resistance, and nothing really is going to happen. So, any other questions, guys, about Bitcoin in just this final 8 minutes? Otherwise, I'm going to continue ranting about random things of society. Second Parrot channel when? I was in Spain a month ago. Muy bien, paella. That's fantastic. TradeFi is here. Since I watch Trading Parrot do his thing, my trading style has got much more professional. I'm banking small wins rather than big wins and lots of small losses. That sounds good to me. I'm really happy to hear that some people are learning and benefiting from this channel, and not everybody is having a terrible time with data overwhelm, overloading. Uh, What about the dominance? What about the dominance? That's a great question. Let's go to dominance. Well, I'm so happy I called this there by the dollar with the RSI 73 rejection, and hopefully that is going to bleed a little bit more than just that. So for example, this is how it looks like a great altcoin season. You pinch, interestingly, the same level, that RSI 73, and then moving down all the way to 40% through a period of 100 days, 100, 120 days. That is the best altcoin season. You can see this whole cycle, we haven't got anything similar to these moves that are uh, really profitable. Dominance at the moment has been rejected, obviously, from 73, and we are kind of on a move down in here. Let me see. I'm scanning for patterns. It's holding at the median, and what we want is a move down in this direction. Well, so maybe we could get into 46 and test support if we continue below the median. Um, the lows of the percentile are at the moment at 38. So that's already a decent move if we manage to get there. Let's see what USDT dominance is doing. Well, we're still in the breakdown here. So that's positive for all coins. My only worry with the altcoins is this fractal from 2021. I borrow from this area. Notice the two circles there. Well, those two circles are here. So I place this fractal there. And if we carry on in this trajectory, there should be some support here at 5% USDT dominance, and then another push up to 543. But notice that this is a lower high relative to 627. So that is will represent on the altcoins a pullback, but a way smaller pullback than what we had on all this way here. From January into April, it was horrible. So this will be like a quarter of that. And then further push down if we continue with the fractal. That area there is also positive for the altcoins. And yeah, total three is against that resistance of 920 billion. So we are seeing potentially some pullback that is already in place. AD says no cuts. Is the white line, what is the question? Is the white line on USDT dominance big resistance? Let me answer that question. So this white line, BS, and I'm not going to use my imagination to expand on your nickname, but you can see that in the history from 2017 of the USDT dominance, that has been a strong support. But here in October 2024, we lost the support, that black area there. I just tried to match it with what we did in 2021, but we lost that support. So it's no longer valid support, but for a while, from November into February, it was resistance. Then we broke back above, and now we are back below. So we are doing more or less what the fractal is saying. And we got another question here. It says, will it go down now that Bitcoin rejected 104? So we need to answer the question, has it really rejected 104? I'm not sure. To me, a rejection is something a little bit more substantial. So remember our resistance, our last line of defense for the shorts. to not go into an all-time high, is that the price should not cross 104.7, because at that point we get a breakout bullish on the 4 hour. The daily is already holding, the weekly is looking good, the monthly is looking good, and it's just the 4 hour that took a pullback. So it only takes the 4 hour in here to produce a breakout, and we resume the trend, because still the trend is your friend. So I will say, if we get a rejection from 104.7, that last line of defense, and a rejection, call it a candle close, you can go higher, you can go to 106, but you close below 104.7, and then you start putting the first red candle of rejection right after that. That could be a setup for further continuation down. And let's see if I can very quickly put a extension here. So first I'm going to do an extension like this. So an extension of 1 puts you at 99K. And why am I getting these numbers, funny numbers that I don't like? Let's put, where is 1618? I'm so blind, I cannot find anything. There it is, 1618. 1618, the golden pocket is around 95,600. So from where we are being so far held, which is 104, and if we start dumping, the 99 is a one extension, and the 96 more or less is the Fibonacci golden pocket. If we went higher than that, then we get less targets to the downside, right? Then 100K could be the support, or 96.5, and then we take the CME gap. But those are the current extensions. And let's do it the other way around. So here we went up all of that, and let's assume we hold the 100K point 7. So an extension of 1, if we repeat the plate of what we just did, same performance, is 113. In a golden pocket is at 121. But those targets, those areas, we constantly talk about it. So if we manage to break that 104.7, close beyond it, to say we close at 105, we close at 106, first time we put a candle close there on the 4 hour, then we increase substantially the chances of continuing there. Does that mean that if we get there at 106, I'm going to enter a long at 106? There's no F way I do that. I don't long the breakout top candle. That's not the way. That is just the confirmation. If you want to be long and you want to be a market maker, you do it like these guys, that they had a lot of bidding here, right? So they are already allocated. They put 0.11 ratio of bids at midnight in this red candle. And now they're in profit already. They're just going to ride it if it breaks out. That's how they do it. Let me see this question. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to answer it. Let us assume we go to the golden pocket correction to 95. Will that not mean we are up for a summer sideways and even potential lower correction? Well, here's the thing. I repeat a lot this thing about chewing gum and being able to walk. It's a metaphor that I'm borrowing from Chile. It's very common that they say that when they refer to someone that is dumb, that you cannot do those two things at the same time. Well, you must be really dumb. And it's very difficult, actually. I'm not saying I'm the best at this, but it's very difficult to have in mind the idea of the 4 hour time frame, the daily, the weekly, the monthly. And I stick to those four primarily, since I don't have time to trade lower time frames than that. So if we go to that 95 or something, you need to think, well, the 4 hour broke and is in a potential new downtrend. And you can be in a downtrend on the 4 hour, and at the same time, then go to the daily and say, well, the daily is still not broken, or the weekly is not broken, and trade it in that way. You need to be able to trade those combinations of 4 hour being broken and daily not yet, but potentially getting broken, and keeping a mind map of at least those four um, aspects at the same time. And then when you start seeing signs that the daily is also going to join the party, which is the way I call that daily is also about to break, then you use the 4 hour to hint you about that. 4 hours already broken, but it hasn't broken uh, very deeply. Like answering your question, if we get just to let's say 97 here, then we need to picture what do we have at 97 on the daily, and you can even draw it in a daily chart specifically. So you do a line here and you go all the way to 97, and then imagine that goes back up, and answer your question. Is that possible? Yes, absolutely. Is that bearish? No. Look back in time. Do we do that in an uptrend? Yeah, all the time. So is that the end? No. So draw something that is the end. What is the end? I will say with this sort of chart, to me, the end is more or less looking like this, and not even the final end, because you could do a liquidity hunt and then still try once again. Look just at the chart of Ethereum. That I'm still waiting for that 4K, but hopefully we're not gonna get an Ethereum chart here. So that is a little bit more gray area. Definitely getting back into the lows and forming a double top. It's gonna put a lot of tension there with the double top with targets to what 40K. Of course, that's gonna be a lot more scary. But just defending the point of control. Remember that above the point of control we are bullish. Anyways, too long answer. I need a manager, someone that is here, that or someone that can kick me when I talk too long. Banter bubbles in the green. Let's look at the banter bubbles. Are they really in the green? You mean the weekly? Yeah, the weekly, the month, the daily doesn't look in the green unless there's something wrong with my bubbles. Anyways, we didn't get any volatility. Pretty disappointing price action, and I still don't get lunch. So I'm gonna take a break now, guys. And thanks so much for joining the stream. Thanks so much for almost 1,000 people now watching the stream combined between YouTube and Twitter. Really, really amazing. If we could get 1,000 likes, that will be really amazing. Having 1,000 people just staring and taking ideas, using the information, not hitting the like. Well, that's fine. Sometimes I watch a lot of things in YouTube that I really love and I don't hit the like. It's fine. Fine. Okay. Now you can go. Thanks. Bye bye.